I'll never forget the first time that I got a really good view of Mount Kilimanjaro. We had just arrived in Moshi, and it was the night before our big climb. I looked out in the distance and I saw this massive mountain rising up out of the ground, and it seemed like it was so far away. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought to myself, I don't know if I can do this. That night I tossed and turned. I didn't sleep at all. I was full of fear, stress, anxiety, and uncertainty. Today, I'm sharing the biggest lessons that I learned when I was climbing Kilimanjaro. The first thing that I learned on my Mount Kilimanjaro climb is that you can do hard things alone. And I actually think that you should do hard things alone. I think that builds a lot of confidence and a lot of grit. And I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I really like solo adventures in the backcountry, but my experience on Kilimanjaro would have been so different if it would have just been me and a guide and a porter, or if it would have been me in with a group, a random group of strangers who didn't have anything in common. It just would have felt different. On Kilimanjaro, I really came to depend on the group of women that I was climbing the mountain with. The friendships that we made on Mount Kilimanjaro are some of the best friendships that I've made in my entire life, which is strange because we only spent like a week together. But I think going through such an intense experience with such an incredible group really changed my perspective on solo adventures and group adventures. The night before our climb, we had this big group dinner. After dinner, several of us sat outside on this patio and we just talked. We were strangers. We didn't know each other. We didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, but we sat on this patio and we talked and we got to know each other. And it was really cool to connect with these women who I had met online, and now we were actually in person in Moshi getting ready to climb Kilimanjaro. It felt great to be able to share my fears and my uncertainty with the women in our group. On our very last night after the climb, that same group sat down on the same patio and we talked. And this time, our conversation was so much different. Instead of making small talk with a group of strangers, it felt like I was sitting down and having a conversation with my sisters, with sisters who had just shared this incredible experience together. We had stories to tell, we had love to share, we had come to be best friends in just a week. And that's because we did this challenging climb together as a group. It's good to do hard things alone, but it's even better to do them with a group of friends. Isn't that what trauma bonding is? No, maybe not. On Kilimanjaro, our guides were always saying the word pole pole. That means slowly, slowly. Didn't matter if we were hiking or if we were at camp. They just wanted us to move our bodies slowly, slowly all the time. Pole pole helps you acclimate, it keeps you safe, it keeps you from making mistakes. And I spent 45 years rushing through life like a big ball of chaos. Sometimes I think I thrive in chaotic environments, and sometimes I think I even crave chaos, which I'm embarrassed to even admit. But on Kilimanjaro, I really like not feeling rushed or anxious or stressed out. I really fell in love with the concept of pole pole. And I try to think about pole pole in everything I do. It doesn't matter if I'm at home working, or if I'm out on the mountain having a great adventure, or if I'm at school pickup like I am today. I'm sitting in the pickup line waiting for my children to be released from school and sent out into the wild. This is always the most chaotic and stressful part of my day. It's the part of my day that I dread the most. It's not that I don't want to see my kids after school. It's just that my kids used to walk to and from school, so I was not involved in the school drop-off and pickup process. But we're at a new school, so school drop-off and pickup is something that I have to do every day. There are cars full of frustrated, stressed out, and anxious parents everywhere right now. There are kids trying to cross the street. It's just bonkers. Oh, and there's my puppy back there. He helps me with school pickup. I would much rather be on the mountain skiing today, and so would my dog, but that doesn't change the fact that we're here in the pickup line. So I could let the stress of school pickup bring me down, but instead I apply a little thing called pole pole. What up, boo? I can't help but wonder what would happen to our society and our culture in general if we were more willing to accept pole pole into our lives. What if we just refused to feel rushed and insisted on slowing down? The final thing that I learned on Mount Kilimanjaro is that it doesn't matter how dark and cold the night is, the sun will eventually rise up from the earth and it will bring light and warmth. When I was in the Army, sometimes I remember doing really hard things, a deployment, a field training exercise, basic training, but I really remember one moment at airborne school. Airborne school is where the Army teaches you how to jump out of airplanes, become a paratrooper. It's super cool, but I remember at one point I was tired, I was hungry, I was frustrated, I was annoyed, and I just kept reminding myself that the Army's required to feed you one meal a day. So eventually training is gonna have to stop and I'm gonna get to eat. That's kind of how it is in life. Pretty much with everything in life. We have these really dark moments when things just kind of suck. Maybe it's an illness or an injury. Maybe it's a really complicated life situation. Maybe you're climbing a big ass mountain and it's really dark and really cold and you can't breathe because there's just not enough oxygen. And you feel like you're never going to make it to the summit. But you know what's gonna happen? What's guaranteed to happen, because it's been happening ever since humans have been in existence to watch it happen. The sun is going to come up and it's going to warm up the earth and it's going to lighten a dark sky. And for me, that is such a beautiful thing to know. Climbing Mount Kilimanjaro changed my life. In fact, it was probably the best thing that I have ever done for myself, and it can change your life too. And if you'd like to join me for my next Kilimanjaro climb in August of 2025, head to our website hikelikeawoman.com to learn more, and then check out this video all about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, just so you can feel what climbing the mountain with a strong group of badass women really feels like.